Hello everyone. Um, Today I will be reflecting on my learning journey throughout this semester in global governance with the form of slides. And my name is Pei Cheng, and my Monash ID is 3555786. So when I first started this subject, I viewed global governance primarily as competition between powerful states. I believe that countries with greater military and economic resource had the greatest influence over international affairs. And I also tend to view issues such as trade, climate change, human rights, and security as spirited topics. And today I will discuss the three major learning outcomes. The first, how my understanding of power evolved. The second, how my perspective on international relations theory changed. And the third one is how I come to recognize the interconnected nature of global governance. So first, before this semester, I believe that power was mainly determined by military and economic strengths. Looking at the international politics, the most influential actors appears to be countries such as the United States, the Russia, and the China because they possess the largest military and economic capabilities. So uh, so the figures I've mentioned on my slides reinforce my belief that global governance was largely shaped by powerful states, and at the same time, I view the international issues independently. Climate change was an environmental issue, and trade was a economic issue, and conflict was a security issue. I I didn't realize that these issues influence one to another. So looking back now, I realized that my understanding was quite limited. So one of the most important changes during this semester was the understanding of the power. So I believe that power mainly referred to military and economic, but however, the course introduced to me border forms of powers, including soft powers, institution power, and structural power. And WTO was a particularly important example. Despite it have no military force, the organizations regulates the trading system involving 166 members and approximately 98% of the global trade. So similarly, the United Nations doesn't possess military power of its own. Yet it brings together 193 member states and plays a significant role in shaping international norms and facilitating cooperations and setting global agendas. These examples just challenge my previous assumptions. I realize that power is not simply the ability to force another to act. Power can also involve shaping rules, influence behaviors, establish norms, and determine what is considered in international politics. And this significant broaden my understanding of how global governance operates. And next, my understanding of the international relations theory also involved throughout this semester. So first, I think that realism can truly explain everything, but 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 through the semester, it tells me it's not true. So for example, geopolitical competition between major powers appears to support realist assumptions about state behavior. And however, as I studied international organizations, global trade and climate governance and realized that realism couldn't explain everything. And the liberalism offers a different perspective, and it emphasizes the cooperation, institutions, and independence. So, my biggest learning about this part was that the theories do not necessarily compete to compete with each other. So instead, they can put together to come to understand a complex issue. this shifted my thinking from searching for just one correct theory to appreciating multiple perspective. And climate governance was probably the topic that challenged me the thinking most. So before this course, I viewed that the climate change primarily has an environmental issue. I assumed because climate change affects everyone, countries would naturally cooperate to solve the problem. But however, studying like the Paris Agreement revealed a much more complex reality. Although nearly 200 countries support international climate action, they face a very different economic circumstance and developed priorities. So developed countries generally have the greater technological and financial resource to reduce the emission, but many developing countries, for example, like India, continue to prioritize economic growth, poverty reduction, and energy access. So this case will make me realize that climate governance is not only just about environmental protection. It also involves development, trade, economics, equality, and nation interest. And it's also the first time I could clearly see how different topics in the course were connected. And as for the Sudan conflict, uh, according to the nations, nearly 13 million people have been displaced by the conflict, creating one of the largest humanitarian crisis in the world. Millions face the food insecurity while healthcare systems are being severely disrupted. And this conflict apparently revealed the limitations of international organizations. Although institutions such as like the United Nations seek to coordinate humanitarian response, their effectiveness often depends on the state's cooperation and political support. As a result, I began to, for from this case, I began to see peace and security issue through a much broader global governance perspectives. So at beginning of the semester, I view each topics very independently. Our power was like military, the trade, economics, the climate change, the environment, the conflict. So it's about security. And right now, um, studying studying power helped me to understand the influence of institutions, and institutions then help me understand how the global trade is governed. Then for the corporations, then climate governance, then the influence, then the international corporations. My understanding of the power expanded beyond military and economic strength. I learned to appreciate the role of institutions, the norms, and legitimacy. And my understanding of the theory also involved rather than searching for one correct explanations. I learned to use multiple theoretical perspectives to understand the complex global issue. And most importantly, I came to recognize that global governance challenges are deeply interconnected. The climate change, the trade, the security, human rights, the power cannot be understood in isolatedly. And this course has also encouraged me to think more critically and with greater appreciation for the complexity of global governance. And that's all my creative feedback with the slides. And thank you.